We were supposed to spend New Year's Eve together, just the two of us. That was the plan. No big parties, no noise, no people. Just a quiet night in the way we always said we liked it. Pizza, a couple of old movies, and those weird cinnamon candles Amber kept buying even though she claimed they gave her headaches. She made a big deal about wanting to reset the year together. No distractions. No chaos. Let's not start 2023 surrounded by strangers, she'd said a week before. I remember the way she looked at me when she said it. Soft, half asleep, curled up on our couch in that hoodie she stole from me. I remember thinking, damn, I'm lucky. But I guess plans are only real when both people actually mean them. A few hours before midnight, my buddy Lucas started blowing up my phone. Said a few people were getting together, just a backyard thing. Casual. I wasn't in the mood, but Amber still hadn't shown up or texted since noon. I figured maybe she got caught up, traffic or errands or one of her famous last-minute hair emergencies. Still, something felt off. At 9:37 p.m., I texted her. All good for tonight? Should I order food or wait? No answer. I stared at that message for 15 minutes before I even stood up. It wasn't like her to ghost me like that. Even on her busiest days, she'd send a heart emoji or a soon or something. I tried calling once. Straight to voicemail. So I did something I'm not proud of. I gave up. Grabbed my keys, told myself I'd just stop by Lucas's thing for an hour. Tops. Maybe she'd be home by the time I got back. Maybe there was an explanation. Lucas's party was already buzzing when I got there. Fire pit in the backyard. Cheap beer in an ice bucket. Someone's speaker glitching out between reggaeton and classic rock. I barely got a drink in my hand before someone shoved a phone in my face. Dude, look at this. They laughed. Remember Sarah from HR? Look who she ran into. Took me a second to register what I was looking at. It was a short Instagram story. The kind that loops endlessly unless you tap past it. A blur of lights, people, loud music. And in the middle of it all, clear as day, Amber. Hair pinned back. Wearing a silver dress I'd never seen before. Moving like she owned the room. Her hands were on someone. Some tall guy with a beard and a button-down half open. He had his arms around her waist, swaying with her like they'd done it 100 times before. At one point, she leaned in close, mouth near his ear, laughing, smiling, like this was their night. I felt the breath leave my body. The guy holding the phone kept talking, but his voice blurred into background noise. I walked away without saying a word, heart thudding so loud it drowned out the music. I don't remember driving home. I just remember that video looping in my head on repeat. Amber was at a party. Party I never knew existed. Wearing something new. With someone I'd never seen. When I pulled into the lot at our apartment, everything was quiet. Her car wasn't there. The porch light was off. I unlocked the door, half hoping I'd walk in and find her sitting on the couch. Some weird explanation ready. Maybe it was her cousin. Maybe it was all a prank. Maybe I was being dramatic. But the apartment was cold. Still. Unlived in. I waited. Tried calling again. Voicemail. Midnight came and went. I sat on the floor of our living room, watching the glow of fireworks flicker across the blinds like ghosts. I remember thinking, if she walks in right now and says she's sorry, I'll let it go. She didn't walk in. I woke up the next morning on the couch, still in my jacket. My phone was face down on the carpet. For missed calls from her. A text at 1:52 a.m. Hey babe, sorry I missed you. Things ran late. I'll explain in the morning, I promise. Love you, Red Heart. At 8:13 a.m., the door creaked open. She walked in holding a coffee tray, 2 cups, her usual peace offering. She looked rested. Too rested. Like someone who hadn't spent the night wondering where I was. Her silver dress was gone. Replaced by yoga pants and an oversized sweater. Hey, she said, voice light. Rough night. I didn't say anything right away. Just stared at her. She must have seen the look in my eyes because her expression shifted. What? I pulled out my phone and showed her the video. Her face barely flinched. Oh, she said. Wow, that got posted? That's your takeaway? She sighed and set the coffee tray down. That was just Jay, a friend from college. We ran into each other at Camille's thing. Totally unplanned. I didn't think it was a big deal. Really? I asked. Because it looked like a big deal. Her voice stayed calm. Too calm. Someone must have caught the wrong moment. We were just dancing. Not even slow dancing. You know how these clips are, they always look worse than they are. And what about the party? I asked. The one you didn't mention? I didn't plan to go, she said quickly. Camille called. Said they had an extra seat in the lift, and I figured you weren't home anyway. I wasn't going to sit alone all night. I was waiting for you. She bit her lip and looked away for half a second. I just didn't think you'd mind. We never confirmed anything. That word, confirmed. It stuck in my head like a thorn. We sat in silence for a while after that. I stared at her, trying to find some trace of guilt in her face. She just looked tired. Not guilty, not sorry, just tired. I should have texted, she admitted eventually. That was on me. But really, babe, it wasn't what it looked like. She used that tone, the one she reserved for tech issues and missed exits. Calm, rational, practiced. And for some reason, I nodded. Because at that moment, I wanted so badly for it to be nothing. I wanted to believe that the video had been edited weird, that she was telling the truth, that this wasn't the start of something darker. But deep down, in that place you don't admit out loud, I knew something was wrong. After Amber's explanation, I told myself I believed her. That's what people in love do, right? They choose trust, even when it feels like standing on cracked ice. Even when the voice in the back of your head, the one you usually ignore, starts whispering, this isn't nothing. I told myself it was paranoia, insecurity, some toxic cocktail of all the stories I'd read online about cheating partners and double lives. I didn't want to be one of those guys. The ones who check phones, who analyze text patterns, who look for betrayal in every pause between sentences. So I pushed it down, let it go. We kissed that morning. Awkward. Short. She said she was tired. I didn't ask from what. But from that moment on, something shifted. Not just in the way I looked at her, but in the way she looked back at me. You know how you can feel someone pulling away before they actually do? It's like gravity changes. They're still in the same room, but everything feels just slightly out of sync. Like a record playing half a beat too slow. That's how it started. Little things. Like how she suddenly became allergic to eye contact when we talked. Her gaze always somewhere else, her phone, the TV, the wall behind me. And when I'd call her out on it, she'd blink like I'd snapped her out of a dream. Sorry, she'd say. Just tired. That word again. Tired. She was always tired. Too tired to go out. Too tired to cook. Too tired for date nights, for S*X, for conversations that lasted more than 5 minutes. Too tired to be us. Meanwhile, she was never too tired for work. Or the gym. Or those spontaneous girls' weekends that started happening every other month. I used to think her independence was one of the best things about her. How she carved out space for herself. Never let the relationship swallow her whole. But now it just felt like she was building a second life brick by brick, and I didn't have the key to the front door. One night in October, she came home late from happy hour. It was almost midnight, way past when her office closes. She didn't notice I was still up. I heard her heels in the hallway, the sound of her dropping keys on the kitchen counter, and then laughter, soft, low, not directed at me, just floating behind her like perfume. I stepped into the hallway, and that's when I smelled it. Cologne. Not mine. She stopped short when she saw me. Blinked. Oh, she said, like I'd surprised her in her own apartment. Hey, why are you still up? Couldn't sleep. She moved past me toward the bathroom. Some guy at the bar spilled his drink on me. Smelled like he bathed in cologne. She said it without even pausing, like it was scripted. I just nodded. Then she added, "You're not mad, are you?" I didn't say anything. She took that as a yes and turned on the shower. Hot water steamed the bathroom like she was trying to erase something. When she came out, she was smiling. Hair wrapped in a towel, skin red from scrubbing. She kissed me on the cheek and said, "You worry too much." I didn't reply. I just stared at the TV and waited for my own doubts to turn down the volume. That wasn't the only time. I started noticing patterns. Every time I'd ask her where she was going, she'd get defensive. If I pressed even a little, her voice would sharpen. "Why are you interrogating me?" Or, "Since when did I need permission to have a life?" Once, she left the room just to answer a call, saying it was her mom. I checked the caller ID after she hung up. No call from her mom. No call at all. The next day, she posted a photo from brunch with her besties. 3 smiling women holding mimosas, tagged at a downtown spot. But one of the girls, Rachel, messaged me later asking if Amber was okay. Said she hadn't seen her in weeks. That photo had been taken a month ago. Then came the changes in how she dressed. It wasn't gradual, it was like a switch flipped. Suddenly she was buying new outfits, trying new hairstyles, wearing perfume I'd never smelled before. I complimented her once, and she flinched, like I'd caught her off guard. She used to get ready in our shared bathroom. Now she locked the door. Even when I knocked just to grab toothpaste, she acted like I was interrupting some top-secret ritual. One Saturday morning, I picked up a receipt from the floor of her car. It was for a boutique hotel across town. 2 nights, mid-November. I asked her about it. "Oh," she said casually. "That was for Camille's bachelorette weekend. I told you." She hadn't. I checked Camille's wedding registry. Her wedding was in March. No bachelorette. Not yet. I wanted to press her. I wanted to yell, scream, demand she tell me the truth. But every time I worked up the nerve, she'd look at me with those tired eyes and say something like, "You're acting paranoid." Or, "I can't live like this if you don't trust me." And then I'd be the one apologizing. That's how it works, right? They flip it. Turn your instincts into accusations. Your doubts into flaws. Until you're not sure if the problem is them. Or your own mind turning against you. There was one moment that still stands out. Early December. She was going to run to Target real quick, just for some candles and socks or something. She came out dressed like she was meeting a photographer. Tight jeans, heels, red lipstick. She never wore lipstick for errands. "Target, huh?" I joked. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "Yeah, gotta look good even in aisle 7. She was gone for 4 hours. When she came back, there were no bags, no candles, no socks, nothing but a receipt for a coffee. "I got distracted," she said. "Just drove around for a bit. Cleared my head." I nodded, because what else was I going to do? That night she didn't touch me, just curled up on her side of the bed, facing the wall. At some point during all of this, I stopped asking questions. Not because I didn't want to know the truth, but because I already knew it. Deep down, that voice in my head, the one I tried to drown, had started screaming. But here's the thing no one tells you. When betrayal comes slow, it doesn't feel like a car crash. It feels like a leak in your ceiling. You hear the drip. You see the stain. You tell yourself it's fine, just humidity or old pipes. Then one day the ceiling caves in, and you're the only one surprised. Looking back, I can't point to a single moment where everything broke. It wasn't just the silver dress. It wasn't the new perfume. It wasn't even the hotel receipt. It was all of it. The drip, the silence, the way she smiled less, touched less, looked less. The woman who once lit up when I walked into a room now barely looked up from her phone. And I became a roommate, placeholder, a stand-in for the life she used to want. She never said the words, never had to. Her distance was the confession. I just wasn't brave enough yet to read it out loud. It was 3 days after New Year's. Amber was in the kitchen making avocado toast like nothing had happened. She wore my hoodie, the one with the bleach stain on the sleeve, humming under her breath while scrolling through her phone. I sat at the table watching her, trying to feel something. Anger, love, fear, anything. But I felt blank. I'd spent the last few days sleepwalking. I went to work. I came home. We made small talk. She asked if I'd seen her gray scarf. I said no. I asked if she wanted to order Thai. She said maybe. It was like we were improvising a script for a show we both stopped believing in. Then I got the message. Came out of nowhere. A DM on Instagram from a guy named Ryder_J. I almost deleted it. Figured it was spam or some scammy bot. But the first line stopped me cold. I didn't know she was still with someone. I think you deserve to know. I stared at the screen. For a second, I thought it was a joke. One of those stupid burner accounts made to stir drama. But he followed it up with a photo. Amber, sitting on the back of a black motorcycle, arms wrapped tight around a guy in a leather jacket. Her smile wasn't casual, it was *mate. Like she belonged there. Like she'd done it before. The date stamp in the corner said June 14th. 6 months ago. Same leather jacket she told me got lost at the dry cleaners. My throat went dry. I replied, "Who are you?" He answered almost instantly. "Name's Jason. We've been seeing each other on and off. Didn't know she had someone until I saw a tagged pic of you two on New Year's." I confronted her. She said you were just someone she used to live with. Then she blocked me. I thought I was the only one being lied to. Then he sent a *T of a note. A photo of a handwritten message on torn notebook paper, in her handwriting. I didn't even need to read it all to recognize the curve of her letters. "Let's be careful. He's starting to notice. Don't park outside again." My hands started shaking. I didn't respond. I didn't ask more questions. I didn't demand explanations. Because I didn't need any. The truth wasn't a slow drip anymore. It was a fire hose. Blunt. Brutal. Undeniable. She came home that evening around 6. Grocery bags in hand. Smiling like nothing had cracked. She asked if I wanted to try oat milk. Said it was healthier. I nodded. Took the bag from her. Set it on the counter. She went to take a shower. I stood in the hallway, listening to the water run, trying to picture her writing that note. Meeting him, lying to me with a straight face. When she came out, towel on her head, cheeks flushed, she sat on the couch and flipped on the TV. I watched her laugh at a commercial. She didn't ask how my day was. Didn't notice I hadn't said a word in 20 minutes. I didn't yell. I didn't throw things or demand a confession. I just stood up, walked into our bedroom, pulled out the suitcase from the back of the closet, and I started packing. Her stuff first. Jeans, makeup bag, favorite boots, that stupid book of poetry she never finished but pretended to love because it made her seem deep. I threw it all in a box. No folding, no organizing, just gone. She came in halfway through. "What are you doing?" I didn't stop. Her voice changed. "Seriously, what are you doing?" I looked at her for the first time in hours. "You need to go." Her face twisted. "Go where?" "Not my problem." She stepped toward me. "Is this about New Year's again?" "Mark, I told you. I got a message from Jason." The color drained from her face. Just like that. Gone. I watched the air leave her lungs. She didn't speak. Didn't even try. So I kept going. "Got photos. Got your note. I know everything." Her mouth opened, but no words came out. Just this weak little gasp, like she was trying to reboot a dead machine. She whispered, "Please don't do this." But I already had. I finished packing in silence. She sat on the edge of the bed, crying. No sobbing, no yelling, just quiet, pathetic tears. Like she wanted me to comfort her. Like she thought the part of me that loved her would still jump in and rescue her from herself. But I didn't move. I handed her the suitcase, pointed at the door. "Where am I supposed to go?" "I don't know. Call Jason, or whoever's next." That made her flinch. Good. She stood there, suitcase in hand, like she couldn't believe it was real. And then she said it. "I didn't mean to hurt you." I laughed. I actually laughed. "Yeah, you just meant to have fun." I didn't wait for a response. I walked out, locked the door behind me. That night, I slept at my brother's place, on his lumpy couch with his kids stuffed bare for a pillow. And for the first time in months, I slept through the night. No twisting, no turning, no pretending I didn't feel what I felt. Just silence. The next day I came back. She was gone. Left the key on the kitchen counter. Nothing else. No note, no voicemail, no attempt to explain or undo it. She just left, and the apartment finally felt empty, but not in a sad way, in a cleansed way, like the air could finally move again. I walked into the bedroom, looked at the space where her shoes used to pile up, where her makeup used to clutter the dresser, where her perfume used to hang in the air like static. Gone. And you'd think I'd cry, or scream, or break something, but I didn't, because the part of me that wanted her back, the part that used to bend, stretch, and shrink just to keep her close, that part had already died. Quietly, while I wasn't paying attention. The breakup didn't ll us. The lies did. First, she tried to be sweet about it. That was her opening move. 3 days after I packed her stuff and changed the locks, I got a wall of texts around 1 a.m. Like her conscience only clocked in after midnight. I didn't reply, but I read them. All of them. Mark, please. I know I messed up. I'm so sorry. I never wanted to hurt you. Can we talk? Just once. Please. You have no idea what I've been going through. I still love you. Tell me what I can do to fix this. It went on like that. Heart emojis. Sad face emojis. Paragraphs that read like therapy session transcripts. I didn't reply, so she changed tactics. The next night, she sent a voice memo. I didn't open it. I didn't need to hear her crying to know what it sounded like. I'd already spent months watching her rehearse the role of the overwhelmed girlfriend, the stressed woman who needed space, patience, understanding. Now I understood more than she thought I ever would. Day 4, she sent a selfie. Just her. No makeup, under a blanket, looking small and sad like a lost kid at a bus stop. Caption said, "This is the worst I've ever felt." That one made me angry. Not because of what she said, but because she still thought this was about how she felt. No mention of the guy. No apology for the lie that lasted half a year. No ownership. Just sadness. And the expectation that I'd still be the one to console her. I deleted the photo. After that, she went silent for a couple days. I started to think maybe she got it. Maybe it was sinking in that this wasn't a rough patch, or something we could salvage with one deep conversation and a playlist full of breakup songs. But no, that wasn't the end. It was just intermission. On day 7, I got a message from my friend Owen. Said Amber had posted a story. A black screen with white text. When someone gives up on you without even hearing your side, it says more about them than you. I rolled my eyes so hard I nearly blacked out. I didn't respond, still trying to play it cool. Still telling myself she'd burn herself out if I gave her nothing to feed on. But when the guilt card didn't work, she pulled a new one. Blame. Started slow. She sent another message, this one less soft, more pointed. I feel like you're acting like this was all black and white. Nothing ever is, Mark. You stopped trying long before I made a mistake. Mistake. That's the word she kept using. Like she tripped and fell onto the back of a motorcycle. Like 6 months of sneaking around was a single lapse in judgment, not a pattern of premeditated betrayal. She wasn't sorry she lied. She was sorry she got caught. The next day, I got a call from my brother. He sounded weird, hesitant. She came by, he said. Didn't stay long. Dropped off a letter. A letter? She asked me to give it to you. I haven't opened it. Just thought you should know. I thanked him, told him not to worry. Then I drove over, picked it up, and opened it in my car. It was 3 pages long, handwritten, filled with memories. Old ones, the first concert we went to, our road trip to Portland, that one time we got locked out of our apartment and had to sleep in the car. She wrote it like a eulogy for something she hadn't been part of in months. The last line hit hardest. Remember how it all began. As if nostalgia could rewrite reality. As if the beginning could excuse the end. That same night, I started hearing from mutual friends. People we used to go on double dates with. People who were at our engagement party. People who hadn't texted me in a year suddenly showing up in my inbox asking if I was doing okay. One even said, "Amber told me you've been going through something. I'm so sorry, man." Going through something? She was flipping the narrative. Repainting herself not as the girl who got caught, but the woman who got abandoned. I didn't respond to the friends who tried to guilt-trip me. I didn't explain. I didn't blast her with proof. But I knew what she was doing. She wanted to rewrite the story, recast herself as the victim, me as the bitter guy who couldn't handle it. I wasn't surprised. She had always been good with people, good at curating emotion, good at turning pain into performance. I just never thought I'd be the stage she stood on. Then came the final evolution, projection. She messaged me again. This time the tone was different. No more crying, no more begging, just cold, sharp, calculated language. You're really doing this? Tearing everything down over one stupid thing? You've been distant for months. You think I didn't notice? It's not like you were perfect. You made me feel like a ghost in my own home. You pushed me away before I ever left. That one made me stop. Not because I believed her, but because I recognized the tactic. Gaslighting 101. Flip the spotlight. Make the betrayed feel responsible for their own betrayal. Suddenly, it was my fault she'd been texting other guys, sneaking off to parties, leaving me in the dark. Apparently, I was the architect of my own humiliation. It was exhausting. Every day she sent a new version of herself. Sad girl, angry girl, innocent girl, cornered girl, blameless girl, all in rotation, all trying to hit a nerve, find a weakness, crack the shell. But she never apologized. Not really. She never said, I knew what I was doing and I did it anyway. She never said, you didn't deserve that. She never said, it wasn't love, it was selfishness. Because saying that would have meant stepping off the stage. It would have meant facing the version of herself she didn't want to be. Instead, she spun stories. She told people I was insecure, controlling, jealous, said I didn't support her ambitions, that I was mitigated by her career, that I made less money and took it out on her. I heard all of it. *TS made their way to me like poison carried on the wind. Even people I barely knew were tagging me in vague posts or unfollowing me quietly, like I'd caught a virus they didn't want to be near. And I could have fought back, could have posted the *TS, the messages, the photos, the note, but I didn't, because I knew something she didn't. Lies are loud at first, but truth echoes longer. I didn't have to scream, I just had to survive. And that's exactly what I planned to do. It was a Thursday, cold, gray, uneventful. I was at work, half listening to a meeting when my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Normally, I'd ignore it. I've learned to dodge random calls since everything blew up. But something told me to answer this one. And I'm glad I did. Hey, is this Mark? The voice was soft. Female. Familiar, but I couldn't place it. Yeah, I said. Who's this? It's Haley. I work with Amber. I didn't say anything at first. The name clicked, but the context didn't. She filled the silence. Sorry to call you out of nowhere. I thought you deserved to hear this from someone other than her. I stood up, left the meeting, and stepped into the hallway. Okay, I said cautious. Go ahead. She's not who you think she is, Haley said. And I think you already know that. But it's worse than you think. I didn't want to get involved, but after what she did to Jay, and then what she's been saying about you, I couldn't stay quiet. I didn't interrupt. Haley continued. She lied to everyone, said you were controlling and emotionally unstable, told the team you broke things off because you couldn't handle her success. At first, people believed her. She was crying at her desk, playing victim, spinning all these half-truths. But then someone from another department found the photos. What photos? The ones of her and Jay, from the garage, the beach trip, even a couple from that work retreat last September, the one she told you she didn't attend because she was too sick. Turns out she went. With him. They weren't exactly hiding it either. I leaned against the wall. My stomach twisted. Why are you telling me this? Because I watched her throw you under the bus for weeks, Haley said. And now she's imploding, and I honestly think she brought it all on herself. You didn't deserve it. And neither did Jay. That name again. What happened with him? I asked. Haley sighed. She told him you were out of the picture. Said she hadn't been with you in months. Lied about everything. When he found out the truth, he dumped her. Cut contact. But she didn't take it well. I didn't ask what well meant. She started showing up outside his garage. She continued. Yelling. Crying. Once she tried to climb the fence. He called the cops. Then quit his job. Said he was done with the drama. There was a pause. I could hear Haley breathe in like she didn't want to say what came next. Amber's crashing. Hard. She lost the promotion. HR got involved. Upper management doesn't want the PR mess. A few clients even heard rumors. She's on thin ice. I didn't feel vindicated. I didn't feel anything. Why now? I asked. Why tell me this today? Because she blamed you for everything. And no one stopped her. I didn't. I just watched it happen. But when she showed up at the office crying because Jay blocked her, I realized she wasn't heartbroken. She was exposed. She didn't cry because she missed him. She cried because she had no one left to fool. I swallowed. She's not well, Mark. And I don't mean that in a compassionate way. I mean, she's unraveling. The house of cards is falling. And I figured if you ever doubted yourself, if any part of you wondered if you overreacted, you should know you didn't. You were the last honest one in the room. I let that sit, then said, thanks for telling me. We hung up. For a while, I just stood there, staring at the exit sign above the stairwell, listening to the hum of the building's heating vents. Her lies weren't contained anymore. They were leaking fast, public, embarrassing. And for once, I wasn't the one losing anything. I didn't feel proud. I didn't gloat. I just felt done. But Amber wasn't done. Not yet. That night, she sent another text. You win. Is that what you wanted? Everyone hates me now. I didn't reply, so she left a voicemail. Her voice cracked from the start. I can't believe you'd we *p***nize our past like this. You told people? You actually showed them? I hadn't told anyone, but I was glad someone else did. You think you're the only one who hurts? You think you're the only one who lost something? I gave everything to you. I changed for you. That part made me laugh out loud. She hadn't changed. She just changed masks. I know I screwed up, but I'm still human. I'm still the person you loved. Or maybe that was a lie too. Maybe you were just waiting for me to fail. Click. End of message. There it was, her final card. Guilt by nostalgia. If she couldn't win me back, maybe she could pull me down with her. It didn't work. I went to the gym that weekend for the first time in months. Nothing intense, just enough to get my blood moving, remind myself I had a body and not just a brain stuck on rewind. Then I bought groceries for the week. Cleaned out the fridge. Played guitar for an hour. Badly, but who cares? When I walked into the kitchen and saw her letter still sitting on the counter. Remember how it all began? I picked it up and tossed it in the trash. Let the past rot where it belonged. But the fallout kept trickling in. One by one, friends started circling back. I didn't know the full story, man. She made it sound like you just walked away. Dude, I'm sorry. I should have checked in. They weren't groveling. And I didn't need them to. But it felt good to have clarity roll downhill instead of back onto me for once. Amber stopped messaging eventually. Last thing I heard, she applied for a new job, something smaller, retail, way below what she's used to. But word travels fast, especially in small circles. No one wants drama. No one hires a reputation. And Jay? He disappeared. Deleted his socials. Moved, maybe. I didn't follow up. I had no reason to. We were both just ghosts in the same haunting. I didn't celebrate her crash. I didn't drink or dance or text anyone I shouldn't. I just opened my windows, aired the place out, let it breathe again. And for the first time in months, it didn't smell like pretending. I didn't make a scene, just filed the paperwork. A notary delivered the documents to her door. I never saw her sign them. No courtroom, no yelling. She didn't contest anything. Maybe she knew better. I didn't need revenge. I needed distance. That morning, I sent one final message to our mutual friends. A short video clip from New Year's Eve. She's laughing. yelling into someone's ear. He's just comfort. That was me, I guess. Comfort. I added a caption. Comfort doesn't survive the fire. Then I logged out of everything. I didn't care what she said about me anymore. There was nothing left to salvage. Our story had been over long before the paperwork caught up. A month passed. I started waking up without dread. I hit the gym again, picked up my guitar, even signed up for welding classes. My uncle introduced me to someone, kind eyes, no games. We talk. It's easy. No masks. Meanwhile, Amber became a whisper. Last I heard, she applied to a clothing store but couldn't get hired. Too much baggage. Too many burned bridges. Her name comes up only in past tense now, and no one speaks it with warmth. She laughed on New Year's while I sat alone. Now I sleep peacefully while she scrolls through silence. I never wanted revenge. I just wanted peace. And I got it.